Your mother's dead. Before long I'll be dead. And you. And your brother. And your sister. And all of her children. All of us dead. All of us rotting in the ground. It's the family name that lives on. It's all that lives on. Not your personal glory, not your honor, but family. Do you understand? You're blessed with abilities that few men possess. You're blessed to belong to the most powerful family in the kingdoms. And you're still blessed with youth. And what have you done with these blessings, huh? You've served as a glorified bodyguard for two kings. One a madman, the other a drunk. The future of our family will be determined in these next few months. We could establish a dynasty that will last 1,000 years. Or we could collapse into nothing, as the Targaryens did. I need you to become the man you were always meant to be. Not next year, not tomorrow. Now.
What if I told you Tywin Lannister isn't talking about family? He's talking about immortality. And once you see that, the entire scene changes. Not into a father scolding his son, but into a ruler trying to conquer death itself. Tywin believes the individual does not matter, only the legacy survives. It sounds noble, powerful, almost wise, but it's more dangerous than it first appears. Most people watch that scene in Game of Thrones and think it's just a disappointed father telling Jaime to step up, to stop wasting potential, to stop being a glorified bodyguard for kings who didn't deserve him. And yes, that layer exists, but something deeper is happening. Tywin isn't angry because Jaime lacks skill. He's angry because Jaime is choosing personal identity over dynasty. And in Tywin's world, that is betrayal. When Tywin says, "All of us dead, all of us rotting in the ground," it's the family name that lives on. He strips away ego, glory and romance, reducing life to one brutal equation, name over man. To him, the individual is a temporary vessel, and the house is the organism, which means Jaime sees himself as a knight with honor, while Tywin sees him as genetic capital, political leverage, a strategic asset thinking in centuries rather than years. The visual symbolism reinforces this philosophy because while Tywin lectures his son, he is skinning a stag, the sigil of House Baratheon, meaning on screen, a lion is dismantling a stag without saying a word. Robert Baratheon is dead, the Baratheon regime is rotting, and Tywin is calmly positioning House Lannister to dominate, turning a private father-son conversation into a silent declaration of dynastic takeover. The pattern stretches beyond Westeros, because houses that obsess over personal glory collapse, and Tywin references the Targaryens, who ruled for nearly 300 years, but fell when ego, instability, and internal fracture consumed them. Tywin learned from that downfall, and decided he would engineer continuity, rather than chase individual greatness. And if you zoom out, this isn't fantasy. It's history repeating itself through Roman dynasties, medieval bloodlines, and modern billionaire families who treat the surname like a brand designed to outlive flesh. The collective mindset builds structures that survive generations. And that's why it's powerful, because institutions outlast people, systems outlast personalities, and legacy outlasts applause. But here's where it becomes uncomfortable. Because the collective philosophy has a cost, and that cost is the individual. Sacrifice yourself for the house. Suppress desire. Marry strategically. Reproduce strategically. Think long term, and you can build empires, yet you also create emotional casualties. which we see in Jaime losing identity, Cersei becoming obsessed with control, and Tyrion being alienated entirely. When the family becomes the god, the person becomes disposable, and loyalty turns into performance sustained by a pressure rather than love. Flip the lens, and the individualist perspective says live for your honor, your truth, and your fulfillment, which makes Jaime's Kingsguard choice meaningful in his eyes, but wasted leverage in Tywin's, revealing the central tension. Collectivism builds structures, while individualism builds souls. Too much of one creates tyranny, and too much of the other creates chaos. The quiet contradiction is that Tywin's obsession with legacy is what destabilizes it, because fear can enforce obedience, but it cannot manufacture unity, and when loyalty is built on pressure, it collapses the moment control weakens. Tywin says he wants Jaime to become the man he was meant to be, but what he really means is become the man I need you to be, which turns mentorship into succession engineering. This scene isn't really about power, it's about time, about understanding that you are temporary and choosing what to anchor meaning to, whether that is a structure that survives you or an identity that fulfills you. Tywin's message is brutally logical. Individuals die and families endure. Yet the deeper lesson is that legacy without humanity corrodes from within. So the real question becomes whether you can build something that lasts without sacrificing the people meant to carry it. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's Martain, sharing knowledge and wisdom.